Pauly, and today is part 5 of our discussion related to objections on the abortion issue. Now today what we're going to be looking at is this objection of, hey, I'm a guy. Should I even be making these videos? Can men talk about the issue of abortion? Now, on a side point, this is going to be the last video in this series, at least right now. There's other issues I may bring up in the future, unless you start commenting in, right? So if there are more that you want to discuss, I'll keep going. But other than that, we're going to switch to some different topics. So wherever you're watching this, comment in with more questions or objections that you want to discuss. Now, what is often made is the suggestion or the comment that men can't talk about this, that it's a woman's issue, right? And that men don't understand. In fact, this was even presented on The Daily Show by Trevor Noah. Now, if you're unfamiliar with him or his show, I'll post the link to the video I'm talking about in the description. But he was referencing the abortion laws that were made in Alabama, and he made this statement. And I'm going to read it to make sure that I quote him exactly correct. Here's what he said. 25 men passed this abortion law. They passed it through the Alabama Senate, right? These are people deciding what women in Alabama can do with their own bodies, which is crazy because none of these men will ever be pregnant. How are they writing the laws? It's like if the Amish wrote America's laws on cybersecurity, they don't know what they're talking about. All right, now there's a lot said here, and we're going to try to piece through it here in just a minute or so. But is it true that if you can't get pregnant, you don't know what you're talking about, and it's like Amish trying to make cybersecurity laws? No, absolutely not. And here's the problem, is that this doesn't matter what your gender is. Arguments don't have gender. Arguments don't have race. Let me give you a few examples and of why you don't need to have full understanding of the person's view in order to make a comment on it. This is like saying you can't be against slavery unless you've been a slave or a slave owner. Well, of course not. You should be able to be an abolitionist against slavery no matter because you understand slavery is wrong. It's like a single guy stopping a married man from beating his wife, and the married man says, "Are you married?" "No." "Well, then you don't know what it's like to be married, so you can't tell me I have to stop beating my wife." Or me, I am a mandated reporter as a teacher. I have to report if children are being abused by their parents. But could you imagine if the parent said, "Well, you're not a parent, you don't understand. Until you're a parent, you can't say that beating your children is wrong." Of course not. We have the ability to recognize right from wrong apart from our gender and our race that allows us to stand up for certain individuals. You don't have to be a woman to recognize that it is wrong to intentionally take the life of innocent human beings. Right? And that kind of gets back to this other point of that arguments don't have gender. This commits and is a textbook genetic fallacy. And what the genetic fallacy says is your argument is wrong because of where it comes from, not based on the argument itself. So what men say about abortion, well, that's wrong because you're a man, you can't talk about it. No, your gender doesn't relate to the arguments you make. Your race doesn't relate either. An argument is either good or bad based on the argument itself. And so it is absolutely ridiculous to say that men can't talk on the issue of abortion. Now, my last two thoughts really quick are this. I wonder if men who are in support of abortion get told the same thing. When they come out in support of it, they say, "Hey, you can't talk about abortion, you're a man." I don't think so. Because what's also often forgotten is the fact that it was 9 Supreme Court justices who were all men when Roe v. Wade was passed. So those were men making decisions on abortion. So again, with a lot of these arguments, we often get sidetracked talking about irrelevant or fallacious points. Let's get back to talking about the argument itself. Let's make sure that those trying to support abortion are actually arguing against a pro-life position, against the science and the philosophy of the value and dignity of all human beings, no matter their size, level of development, environment, and dependency on another person. I hope this helps as you go out and have these conversations yourself. Have an awesome rest of your day. See you guys later.